Remember when furniture did more than just look pretty? These 10 old-fashioned pieces, once found in every home, have disappeared from modern living. From clever storage solutions to social status symbols, these forgotten furniture gems show how much our daily lives have changed. And first on the list, the ornate pie safe. The ornate pie safe stands as a testament to a time when kitchen essentials doubled as works of art. These wooden cabinets with their distinctive tin punch doors were once found in nearly every American home from the 1700s through the early 1900s. Before modern refrigeration, these elegant cabinets served as the frontline defense against hungry rodents, insects, and the occasional sweet-toothed family member trying to sneak a bite before dinner. What made pie safes truly special was the intricate craftsmanship. The punch tin panels featured elaborate designs ranging from simple geometric patterns to complex scenes of rural life. Some displayed patriotic motifs like eagles or stars, turning these utilitarian pieces into expressions of national pride. The most skilled artisans created patterns so precise that, from a distance, the tin appeared to be delicate lacework rather than punched metal. The construction followed regional styles. In Pennsylvania, German settlers favored hardwoods like walnut and cherry with distinctive folk art motifs. Southern pie safes often used pine or poplar with simpler designs. A well-preserved pie safe from the 1800s can command prices between $2,000 and $8,000 at auction houses today, with rare examples fetching over $10,000, proof that storing desserts was once serious business. The punch tin allowed air circulation while keeping pests out, an ingenious solution to food storage challenges. Beyond pies, these cabinets stored bread, cheese, cured meats, and other perishables that needed protection but not necessarily cold storage. The height, typically about 5 feet, kept food safely away from floor-dwelling creatures and curious children who might otherwise help themselves to a snack. As electric refrigerators became common by the 1930s, the need for pie safes diminished. Today's modern kitchens have little room for these substantial pieces. The average American bakes fewer than 5 pies annually, hardly justifying dedicated storage furniture that takes up as much space as a small couch. Yet the ornate pie safe refuses to disappear completely, enjoying new life as decorative antiques or repurposed as liquor cabinets and display cases. Just imagine telling your great-grandmother that her essential food storage is now where you keep your cocktail ingredients. Talk about a kitchen upgrade that would leave her speechless. The Murphy bed with built-in desk. The Murphy bed with built-in desk represents one of history's most ingenious space-saving inventions, arriving long before tiny house movements or micro-apartments became trendy lifestyle choices. Patented around 1900, these beds emerged as a solution for city dwellers facing limited square footage. The true brilliance wasn't just the fold-away bed, it was the transformation of that same space into a functional daytime workstation. These combination pieces featured a full-sized bed that, when folded vertically into a cabinet, revealed a writing desk complete with drawers, cubbyholes, and sometimes bookshelves. The engineering was remarkably sophisticated, using counterbalance systems with springs or weights that made it possible for anyone to operate the mechanism. During the housing boom following World War I, when urban apartments grew smaller, these multifunctional pieces became necessary rather than merely convenient. According to furniture historians, roughly 1 in 4 urban apartments built between 1920 and 1940 featured some version of the Murphy bed. These pieces weren't cheap. A quality bed with desk attachment could cost the equivalent of 2 months' wages for the average worker. But the space-saving benefit justified the investment for city residents who measured their living space in precious square inches rather than feet. Many featured hand-carved moldings, inlaid woods, and brass hardware that made them indistinguishable from high-end furniture when closed. Some models included hidden compartments beneath the desk surface or within the cabinet structure, providing secure storage for valuables. These secret drawers operated with elaborate mechanisms that would make modern escape room designers nod in appreciation. Safety concerns contributed to their decline. Early models gained an unfortunate reputation for accidents. While the mechanisms were generally reliable, improper installation could lead to beds unexpectedly closing. Urban legends about people being folded into the wall while sleeping may have been exaggerated, but they certainly didn't help sales. You know your furniture has an image problem when comedy films use it exclusively as a slapstick gag rather than highlighting its clever design. By the 1950s, suburban expansion meant more Americans had space for dedicated bedrooms, eliminating the need for furniture that required an instruction manual and a healthy dose of trust before going to sleep. The gossip bench. The gossip bench emerged as a dedicated piece of furniture that captured the social revolution brought by home telephones. When telephones first began appearing in private homes during the early 1900s, they dramatically changed how people communicated. Until then, conversations happened face-to-face or through written correspondence. Suddenly, voices could travel instantly across town or across the country, and this new form of socialization demanded its own furniture. The typical gossip bench combined a seat with an attached side table specifically sized to hold the heavy rotary phones of the era. They reached their height of popularity during the 1940s and 1950s when telephones had become common in middle-class homes. These pieces represented a cultural acknowledgement that phone conversations had become an important social ritual, deserving dedicated space within the home. Unlike today's casual phone habits, telephone conversations once required proper posture and attention. The gossip bench's design encouraged users to sit upright, facing forward as if in conversation with an actual person in the room. Most popular styles featured padded vinyl or upholstered seats with wooden frames, often incorporating a small drawer for storing the telephone directory, those massive books containing every number in town that once weighed nearly 5 pounds in larger cities and doubled as booster seats for small children at dinner time. The average American household received approximately 3 phone calls per day during the 1950s. These benches found homes in transitional spaces, often placed in hallways or at the bottom of staircases, reflecting the semi-private nature of phone conversations in that era. Family members could have some privacy while remaining within earshot of others, an arrangement strange to modern ears accustomed to intensely private phone habits. Today, we lock ourselves in bathrooms to take calls. Back then, your entire conversation about Aunt Mildred's bunion surgery was essentially live entertainment for everyone within 20 feet. The name gossip bench reveals much about social attitudes of the time. While used by everyone, these pieces became stereotypically associated with women's social communication. Advertisements described models as the perfect spot for feminine telephone chats, or a comfortable perch for neighborhood news. Telephone companies tracked call duration, revealing that the average call between women lasted 11.5 minutes in 1955, compared to just 3.5 minutes for calls between men, perhaps explaining the nickname and why many models came equipped with small clocks as subtle hints that maybe, just maybe, you'd been talking about the neighborhood scandal for long enough. The decline began in the 1960s when lightweight phones no longer required dedicated furniture. Cordless phones in the 1980s delivered the final blow, allowing people to wander freely while talking. Today, these pieces survive primarily as decorative antiques, curiosities from a time when telephone conversations were special enough to warrant their own furniture, and when social networking meant actually hearing another human voice rather than scrolling through endless photos of what everyone had for lunch. A few months ago, I had no idea what a health ring even was until my fiancée got me one, and I have to say, I'm shocked this isn't a widely known and used product. It tracks my stress levels, and what I found out is that some supplements made my stress score spike, while others actually helped bring it down. I adjusted a few things based on that, and honestly, I feel 10 years younger. My wife mainly uses it to track her menstrual cycles, and she is obsessed with her sleep quality score. I noticed they are currently running a limited 69% discount, but I don't know how long it will last. It's currently only $60, and it's clear. This one is the best bang for your buck, with other health rings priced around $350 with less functions. They managed to price it this low because they cut out the middleman like Amazon, Walmart, etc., who drive up the price and take a big margin, ending up with the customer paying 3 to 5 times more. If you are on TV, you can check it out yourself by pausing the video and scanning the QR code with your phone camera or clicking the first link in the description of this video. The Wooten desk. The Wooten desk wasn't just a writing surface, it was a massive organizational system with more than 100 different compartments, drawers, and slots. Created in the 1870s, these elaborate desks became the ultimate status symbol for businessmen during America's industrial expansion. Standing nearly 6 feet tall when fully opened, the Wooten desk featured 2 large hinged doors that swung outward to reveal an interior landscape of cubbyholes, drawers, and pigeonholes. The most expensive models included fold-out writing surfaces, secret compartments, and built-in inkwells with drainage systems. During the 19th century, paper management was a genuine challenge. A successful business might receive 50 letters daily, each requiring filing and retrieval. The Wooten desk addressed this by providing dedicated spaces for different document types. Modern office workers might laugh at the complexity, but anyone who has lost an important file in their computer would appreciate the Wooten's approach, where at least you could physically see your mess spreading across 100 different compartments. These desks weren't merely functional, they were declarations of success. Priced between $150 and $750 in the 1870s, only the wealthiest could afford them. The desk makers cleverly marketed them as time savers, suggesting important men could justify the expense through improved efficiency. The reality? Most owners probably spent more time organizing their desk than actually working at it. Production peaked in the 1880s with approximately 16,000 Wooten desks manufactured. Their decline came as office design evolved. Steel filing cabinets offered more storage in less space, while typewriters demanded simpler surfaces. Today, a particularly ornate Wooten desk sold at auction for $110,000, making it possibly the most expensive filing system in history. The ornate hall tree. The hall tree was the first piece of furniture greeting visitors in well-appointed homes of the 1890s. Part coat rack, part mirror, part bench, and part storage unit, these imposing wooden sentinels stood guard in entryways, insisting that proper homes required proper organization of outdoor garments. The typical hall tree reached heights of 6 to 8 feet, featuring multiple coat hooks, an umbrella stand with a drip pan, a beveled mirror for appearance checks, and a bench for removing boots. The elaborate versions included hidden compartments beneath the seat for gloves, hats, and scarves. Hall trees evolved as a response to 19th century fashion demands. The average middle-class woman might wear up to 15 pounds of clothing, including multiple layers, hats secured with hat pins, and boots with dozens of buttons. Having a dedicated station for this sartorial armor became essential. For men, proper storage of hats and walking sticks wasn't just organization, it was respect for valuable possessions. These pieces efficiently used vertical space in home entryways. Before walk-in closets, the hall tree concentrated all outerwear needs into roughly 3 square feet. The mirror created the illusion of more space in narrow hallways. Approximately 80% of middle and upper-class homes featured some version of a hall tree. Etiquette guides included specific instructions about whose coat could hang above or below others based on social standing. The state of the hall tree served as a visible measure of household orderliness. So much for just tossing your jacket on the nearest chair. The decline began in the 1920s as closets became standard features near front doors. By the 1950s, hall trees were relegated to antique shops, viewed as relics of a fussier time. The Victorian parlor set. The Victorian parlor set, a settee, his and her chairs, and several side chairs, wasn't just furniture, it was a physical manifestation of 19th century social rules. Designed more for formal posing than relaxation, these sets transformed front rooms into stages where proper society played out. Unlike modern sofas, the Victorian settee featured a straight back, hard seat, and short arms that made lounging impossible. Upholstery fabrics like silk damask, velvet, or horsehair were chosen for appearance rather than comfort, with horsehair being notorious for pricking bare skin, ensuring guests remained literally on the edge of their seats. The chairs told their own story about gender roles. His chair featured wider dimensions and sturdier construction, while her chair was narrower and more delicate. The height ensured women's feet would not quite touch the floor, necessitating footstools and encouraging an upright posture. These parlor sets weren't for casual use. Most middle-class homes maintained 2 separate areas: the formal parlor with these uncomfortable showpieces and a sitting room with practical furniture. The parlor was reserved exclusively for receiving guests, supervised courtship, and displaying the family's taste. Victorian parlor furniture was intentionally uncomfortable. This wasn't accidental, but purposeful. Uncomfortable visitors were less likely to overstay. Most formal calls were expected to last 15 minutes, and furniture that caused numbness after 20 minutes served as a timekeeper. Imagine a job interview chair engineered to make you squirm after 10 minutes. This was standard practice, where furniture actively worked against comfort in service of social conventions. The demise of parlor sets began after World War I as formality decreased. Telephones reduced the need for visits, while radio brought families together in casual settings. By the 1930s, magazines encouraged readers to discard these dinosaurs of discomfort for overstuffed armchairs. Next time you slouch on your couch while video chatting, spare a thought for your ancestors, balancing on slippery horsehair seats while making polite conversation with people they might not even like, counting the minutes until escape. The icebox cabinet. Before electricity transformed our kitchens, the icebox cabinet stood as the cold heart of food preservation. These wooden refrigerators operated on a remarkably simple principle. A large block of ice placed in the top compartment would cool the entire cabinet through the natural flow of air. Cold air descended from the ice compartment to the storage areas below, creating a primitive but effective cooling system. The typical icebox featured multiple compartments separated by thick walls, insulated with materials like cork, sawdust, seaweed, or mineral wool. The exterior was often crafted from oak or ash with careful attention to aesthetic details. Carved panels, brass hardware, and decorative moldings transformed what could have been utilitarian boxes into handsome furniture pieces. What truly distinguished the icebox era was the complex infrastructure it required. An entire industry existed around ice harvesting, storage, and delivery. During winter months, workers would cut massive blocks from frozen lakes and rivers, then store them in insulated ice houses. Throughout the year, ice delivery men would make regular routes through neighborhoods. The relationship between households and their ice delivery service was surprisingly intimate. Many families had standing orders. 50 pounds delivered every third day was standard for a middle-class household. By 1900, the average American city dweller consumed nearly a ton of ice annually just for food preservation. Despite their elegance, ice boxes presented numerous practical challenges. Melting ice necessitated a drip pan that required regular emptying, lest it overflow onto kitchen floors. Food placement required strategic thinking. Items needing the coldest temperatures went directly beneath the ice. And heaven forbid you forgot to empty that drip pan before leaving for a weekend trip. Returning home to find your kitchen floor warped from water damage certainly put a damper on vacation memories. The innovation that spelled doom for the icebox came in 1927 when the first widely popular electric refrigerator was introduced. By 1940, electric refrigeration had captured 80% of the market. Next time your refrigerator makes that annoying humming noise, just remember the alternative was having a sweaty man with ice tongs in your kitchen before breakfast 3 times a week. The library table. In an age when books represented both intellectual and financial wealth, the library table served as the centerpiece of the home's most prestigious room. Unlike ordinary dining or writing tables, the library table was specifically designed for interacting with books, reading them, writing about them, and displaying them to visitors as evidence of the homeowner's cultural sophistication. The classic library table featured a substantial rectangular surface made from rich hardwoods like mahogany, walnut, or oak. The dimensions were carefully calculated, typically 40 inches wide and 60 inches long, providing ample space to spread open multiple reference volumes simultaneously. Their distinctive height, usually 30 inches, was taller than a dining table but lower than a writing desk, allowing for comfortable reading while seated in specially designed library chairs. What separated library tables from ordinary tables was their specialized features. Surrounding the perimeter, a raised edge prevented books from sliding off. Built-in book racks at either end held reference volumes for easy access, while rows of drawers beneath the table's surface stored maps, writing implements, and reading glasses. The most elaborate models included adjustable reading stands, built-in lamps with green glass shades, and specialized compartments for different paper sizes. The library table's weight was legendary, often exceeding 200 pounds due to massive turned legs and substantial construction. This heft wasn't merely a sign of quality craftsmanship, it served the practical purpose of remaining stable while supporting hundreds of pounds of open books. Moving one required either 4 strong friends or the willingness to leave it behind as part of the house sale. Many friendships have been tested by the innocent question, "Could you help me move my library table upstairs this weekend?" In the grand homes of the 19th century, the library table occupied the center of a dedicated room lined with bookshelves. Even middle-class homes often featured a smaller version in a corner of the parlor, signaling the family's commitment to knowledge and education. The decline of these tables coincided with changing home architecture after World War II. As formal libraries disappeared from residential designs and books migrated to bookshelves throughout the house, the need for a dedicated reading station diminished. The next time you balance a paperback on your lap while sitting in bed, consider how your ancestors required furniture roughly the size and weight of a small car just to enjoy the latest novel. The secretary desk with hidden compartments. No piece of furniture better represents the intersection of practicality, privacy, and mild paranoia than the secretary desk with hidden compartments. These ingenious pieces combined an upright cabinet, a drop-down writing surface, and an astonishing array of secret hiding places that would impress even modern escape room designers. The classic secretary desk rose to prominence in the 1700s, but remained a staple in American homes through the early 20th century. The typical design featured 3 distinct sections: a bookcase or display cabinet on top with glass doors, a middle section with a hinged writing surface that folded down for use and up for storage, and a bottom section containing drawers of various sizes. What made these pieces truly special were the hidden compartments concealed within seemingly solid wood, behind false backs of small drawers, underneath removable floor panels and cubbyholes, or inside hollow table legs. These secret spaces protected valuables, important documents, and private correspondence from prying eyes. The most sophisticated examples contained triggers that would release spring-loaded compartments only when specific decorative elements were turned, pushed, or slid in the correct sequence. In an era before digital passwords and electronic locks, these mechanical security features represented cutting-edge privacy technology. Wealthy homeowners might hide a variety of treasures in these compartments, from jewelry and cash to personal diaries and love letters. Many a family fortune disappeared forever when the owner died without revealing their desk's secret combination. Victorian mystery novels weren't exaggerating. There really were forgotten fortunes hidden in old furniture, though probably fewer murder clues than literature suggested. A survey of auction records reveals that approximately 70% of antique secretary desks discovered today still contain at least one compartment that the current owner was unaware existed, sometimes containing forgotten objects from previous generations. The record for hidden compartments belongs to a Pennsylvania desk from 1810 that contained 23 separate secret spaces. The decline of the secretary desk coincided with changing office technology. As typewriters became essential business tools, their mechanical requirements made the slanted writing surfaces impractical. The final blow came with the advent of personal computers. Today's laptop users might struggle to understand furniture designed specifically for handwritten correspondence, but consider how magical it would be if your MacBook had 20 tiny hidden drawers for storing flash drives, passwords, and candy. The Grandfather Clock Cabinet. The Grandfather Clock Cabinet represents perhaps the most ambitious merger of furniture and technology before the electronic age. These imposing timekeepers, standing between 6 and 8 feet tall, combined precision mechanical engineering with furniture craftsmanship to create status symbols that dominated home entryways and hallways for nearly 3 centuries. Unlike modern clocks that serve merely to display time, the Grandfather Clock Cabinet fulfilled multiple functions in pre-20th century homes. The pendulum cabinet section provided storage for household items, while the clock face area often featured specialized compartments for watch-winding tools. Some models included barometric instruments to predict weather changes or astronomical dials showing moon phases. The technical components within these wooden towers were marvels of engineering. The weight-driven mechanisms used gravity to power the clock, with chains or cables wrapped around drums that slowly descended over the course of days or weeks. The pendulum, typically measuring between 39 and 43 inches, swung in precisely timed arcs controlled by an escapement mechanism that converted the pendulum's regular motion into the advancing of gears. The most distinctive feature of these clocks was their voice. Most grandfather clocks were designed to strike the hours with deep, resonant tones, produced by hammers hitting metal tubes or coiled gongs. Premium models included elaborate chiming sequences that played Westminster quarters or other musical patterns every 15 minutes. In the days before electronic entertainment, these mechanical performances marked the passage of time throughout the home. Owning a grandfather clock required commitment beyond the substantial initial investment. The weights needed regular winding, typically once every 7 or 8 days, which involved a ritual of opening the front panel, inserting a special key, and carefully raising each weight to the top of its track. These high-maintenance timepieces were essentially like having a pet that couldn't show affection but still needed weekly care. At least they never needed to be walked in the rain. The decline of grandfather clock cabinets began with the invention of electric clocks in the 1920s, which offered comparable accuracy without the maintenance requirements. The final chapter came with the advent of digital timekeeping and smaller homes that lacked the ceiling height or floor space for these commanding pieces. Today's smartwatch wearers check the time with a flick of the wrist, never experiencing the satisfaction of a weekly winding ritual or the deep resonant bong that once announced to everyone within earshot that it was exactly 4 o'clock and time for afternoon tea. Progress is silent, efficient, and much less impressive to your dinner guests.